There are a lot of firsts for weaponry in World War I. Things such as poison gas and artillery, such as tanks, were used in the war. Even though flamethrowers, machine guns, and some artillery were already invented, they still played a huge part in the war. We still use a lot of the same weaponry today, but we might have modified it some to make it better and easier to use. The artillery used in World War I was nothing like we have ever seen in any other war. The average weapon set of a typical included these weapons. The Colt 1911 was the standard issue sidearm. Perhaps the most famous semi-automatic rifle was a soldier's standard issue. It was the M1 Garand. Some soldiers could carry a Thompson M1A1. There were weapons that created and used for World War II are the following: Springfield Model 1903 sniper rifle and the M1 bazooka was created to match the Germans' anti-tank weapon, the Panzerschreck, and the Browning M1918AZ. Browning automatic rifle was also known as the BAR. Perhaps the most significant war invention was made for the First World War. The tank was first used in 1917 and was originally made by the French. The highly feared weapon was the poison gas. The very first type of poison gas was technically a gas but in a spray form. Regardless, it was much feared on the front lines. By 1939, gases were refined but to be more deadly. Chlorine was the first choice, but quickly picked over for more deadly chemicals. It was overtaken by dysphagin and carbon chloride. They both were choking gases that destroyed the respiratory system. Tear gas had been refined to a more deadly tear gas called atomisol. They had their normal symptoms plus nausea and vomiting. They also used mustard gas that caused skin to blister. It was able to absorb through the clothing to get to your skin. It also caused respiratory system problems and pneumonia. The most dangerous gases were cyanide, carbon monoxide, and cyanogen chloride. They all impede the ability of blood to absorb oxygen. Unable to obtain oxygen, the body will shut down.
In World War I, most men liked to use mortars due to their lightweight structure and the fact that they can be fired from the safety of the trenches so that men didn't have to be exposed to enemy weapon fire. In World War I, the mortars were not very accurate, and they could only reach about 1,500 yards. There are also 25-second fuses on the mortars. Now, most bombs are dropped from either jets or planes. This allows for a surprise attack or just a more accurate attack. Also, now bombs can be launched from one side of the country or farther and hit the other end. Also, many men were used to launch one mortar before, but now an unmanned jet could drop a bomb halfway around the world. There have been many advancements through the years, and this makes war a lot more effective now. Throwers brought terror to French and British soldiers when used by Germans in the beginning of the war. The flamethrower concept was later adopted by both the French and British. The basic idea was to spread fire by launching burning fuel through the air. It was usable up to about 18 meters. It was dangerous to carry around because if it was shot, it would explode. It helped soldiers invade trenches a lot easier because they just shot fire and it would burn and suffocate the occupants. By the end of the war, tanks were made to shoot flames, not shells. The flamethrower was a revolutionary weapon during World War I.
Hiram Maxim invented the machine gun in 1884. The British turned the idea away, whereas Germans took the idea under their wing. This gave Germany many more advantages. The machine gun quickly became much more and became very advanced after everyone found out. The machine gun was very useful but became very hot within 2 minutes of using. So the air cooling method and water cooling method were the only options at that time. This made the machine gun only to be shot in short periods of time. The machine guns were very advanced through the years and now can be used without difficulties from back then. As you can see, with all the new weaponry, it created new ways of warfare. This war wouldn't have been as interesting if it weren't for the flamethrower, poison gas, machine guns, and all the artillery.